Hello, folks. How are you? Welcome to the program. I want to discuss a very important subject. This is in reference to the kind of curve our campaign has taken this past week, and it's really a sad, realistic but sad state of affairs that has came about, because we have had the most amazing run as far as I'm concerned. Things are going just the way I intended, that we're making the progress we're supposed to be making. We're serving to the right causes, the causes of love and freedom and self-determination, that I know that this is what we all need to be doing, so that I'm confident then God is on my side, that love and the forces of goodness are working with me. But I still stand here. I'm humble, and I'm so humbled. I'm humbled in the knowledge I know that I must take this situation with greed, the way it is in our lives, so seriously. I have to stop doing the love that we have been doing this whole time, working so fast and furious and forward towards the things that matter. We know that we have corruption and hell to pay. We are not trying to put a big spotlight on it, but when that corruption and hell is so close to your people's candidate that it makes it impossible for me to do my job, well then that particular holdback in hell might best be delved upon and explained, especially to my supporters who back me with longing. They want to see these changes, that they have put the same hard work and effort, and they put their treasure where their mind and their heart is, and that they live in love. And I owe it to them too to stay on the path of success and to talk about the things that we're doing. That's why I have made the sacrifice in selling my home. Now, what's important tonight to talk about and to notify people, and today, and what we're working on, is I have so much that I've been working on this past few days that I have not been on live. I'll be coming on very shortly. I told you I'm working on this stuff. It's amazing stuff. It's going to make groundbreaking opportunities for us to understand through my own struggles and pains how we can move forward. That's the best way to learn. And in my campaign, that's exactly the way we'll always do. And to Judge Jackson, I want to say I love you, Judge Jackson. I care about you. I know that you don't know really who I am to the court, because we've only seen each other in the court. And that's all that allows. And in the court and the system, the way things are done now, we'll only ever be allowed to spend the bare minimum time, not the true time it takes to fully understand situations. In that world, your happy healer love always finds himself in trouble and finds himself sold short, because he does right every time and cares all the way through. So I'll be showing you the proof to make you aware that you know for a fact, ma'am, that this is a genuine sell, that I've been trying to sell my home so I can serve the people, ma'am, and that the buyer is so eager to buy, he's ready. And I've had a bunch of other people interested too in buying and creating almost like a buyer's war, and that it's a buyer's market. But I said, no, I'm not about that greed. We have such a great relationship, I and my buyer, and he is so eager and ready to move forward. He had just said just a couple of days ago, sending an email to our team within that consists of our title agency and the many employees they have there committed to this deal, as well as your happy healer for president, who's making the ultimate sacrifice in every sense of the word, his time and his effort and his money. And you have the buyer himself. Together, we are committed to this deal. And so he said, sending a message, hey team, what's going on with this deal? We're ready to go, aren't we? I mean, what's holding it up? And so let me talk about the hold up. And that is, I've been putting it through the court system, following the advice I get from the Pro Se Clinic and from other sources and from what I could find myself. And it's been a little inadequate, because they say in many cases you can resolve it in the bankruptcy court and that there's an answer for me there. So I try there. In the meantime, I don't trust Neil. I wish I could. I love Neil ultimately. I love all people, even though he disappoints, and he disappoints greatly, that I know he can be better, that he is doing such horrible things in life, and that we all need to atone to that. I still say, I concede to the fact that that is that devil within, that greed that makes that hell come out of all of us. But that doesn't make me any less of a victim of Neil's and perhaps greed itself and the devil itself. I've always felt like it's a force after me, because I am serving to the cause of human value, to the cause of love, and that is God's cause. So I know that the devil can't be too happy with your happy healer. And so I'm happy in that regard. And so I say, please help me not lose, and help others not lose, and realize, let's not allow the story to not fully get told. I'm trying to get my story out there. I'm grateful for people who listen. That's why I'm grateful for this platform. It's because I get to say the truth, and that we're running for President of the United States on that truth, and that nobody has ever before decided to run putting their truth out there, and that in that truth we find things and elements and factors and matters about each one of us that we're the same, that we all deal with a lot of different things, that we all see as being our own adversities and our own setbacks and trials and tribulations. And I just call it hell. And I say we all have our own hell, and so it's our own hell to pay. And so I say, I come to you with open arms. I love, and that's what makes me your happy healer. Love. I don't spend time judging, because that's a foolish man's errand, and that we can actually help people through love and build people up. And so that's why I say I love Neil, just to kind of make it clear for people to understand. How can you love somebody who hurts you so much? Remember, it becomes self-defeating to do actions that are not within the benefit of yourself to do well. And it's in your benefit to see all humanity do well. And that's where the most precious gift for humanity is to be had. And it's found in love. That's what I teach. That's, as the happy healer, what I know to be true. And so I boldly go on that path, and I share it with the people. And I'm proud of that. So back to the situation, and we're steady evermore on this course. I have to deal with this, otherwise I lose my home, and the dream is in jeopardy. We've been working too hard on this dream. Remember, I would not be in any kind of hell right now. I would not have had my bankruptcy dismissed recently if it was not for the fact that I'm running for president and trying to sell my home as a result of wanting to get this negative experience with Neil out of my life, as well as to gift the proceeds towards the run of my presidency. I believe in it. I want to gift this to the American people. It's so important to me, and it's a boy's dream. And I'm humble in that. I'm so humble in that. And so I say, please don't block that. Why would you want to block that? If I'm successful in doing what I'm doing, which I think I will be, we all get to have love. And there's a lot of people who believe in this. And then I so boldly say, SAG-AFTRA, that's the Screen Actors Guild Award, they came out and support your happy healer for President of the United States. I am so humble in that. And then recently I had a chance to see Mayor Demings, and he said he was interested and wanted to know more. And he's got a reach out from your happy healer, and I look forward to jumping on every opportunity to branch out and talk to more people to expand on that. And so people that matter, they are focused, and we all matter. Remember that. But I know in this world that people are impressed by positions of power, by these kind of things that I say we all have power. If you look in my eyes, we all have value. If you look into my heart, you know that's true. And that's what I focus on. People say, you'll become president, will you still be the same? I say, absolutely. That's because I already know now the value and purpose I have. It wouldn't come with the presidency. There's a greater version now. It comes from our maker. And also, I see that you get that. So this is a great thing. We actually are ourselves going into it. We lift everybody else up. That's what changes. And so that's the gift I'm trying to give. I say, please don't stop me from giving that gift. I didn't do anything bad. And I made it 4 years along on this bankruptcy. Should I have to put in another case, it'll only only be because of Neil stopping me again, ma'am, that I need a little time to get that lien off. It's all me and my buyer have been trying to do. Recently, he said to me, maybe I found another way, because we're trying, ma'am. We're trying to make a boy's dream come true and to pay Neil off. But Neil doesn't want the money. He wants the home. And the media that I have and the proof that I'm putting out will show this. But you already know that. He said that in court. And he even said to me here, he said, tell those guys with that lien, they don't want to settle with you for, and he said, $0.25 on the dollar, which in the spirit of the law, and Judge Jackson, you know this to be true, in the spirit of the law, I shouldn't have to pay on that, because that is actually, first off, it was their greed that gave me an ad that I couldn't use for a business that was failing in a financial crisis I didn't start. And they gave me that, convincing me that I needed this great big ad that only helped shut my business down sooner. Only to later now come up with more nonsense, and they're not allowed to do that. Morally, they're wrong, but aside from that, legally, they're wrong too, because in the state of Florida, we have that homestead protection. Never mind that somebody nefariously, going back 3.5 years ago, changed your Happy Healer's address with the county tax collector, causing my homestead to be in jeopardy. But the great news is that God works wonders and miracles. I called them. We found out that somebody tampered with that, and as such and because of that, it never should have been like that. They switched it. How often do you ever see that? They actually switched my homestead status for the last 3 years, Judge. I didn't get a chance to tell you this, but I know that would have moved you. But, you know, the clerk said, and Your Honor, we're also here to talk about another motion concerning the reinstatement. But by then, you had already judged on it, so I didn't get a chance to say it, that's all. But I didn't want it to go away, and here's why. I feel that Neil won't allow me the time to get my simple lien off that I've been trying to get help from you on. And you said, well, I'm going to help you by putting you back in the other court. But Neil's not going to give me the time. I'm doing it now. I've been working on all the paperwork and working on everything, and actually even working to get an attorney. This greed is so hard in my life, ma'am, and I'm sorry that's the way I see that, but it's scary for me because I never came on this intending to lose my house. I was successful on a 4-year bankruptcy, and the fact is I would have just continued going on that. I was ready to catch it up the other day. I never had that chance. Why would I catch it up when I actually really do have a buyer? I know you didn't believe that totally, but now you know. I really do have a buyer, and that the buyer is eager to really get this done. So am I really eager to get this done, and that when that's done, Neil will get his money. Further, Neil was at my house right after you had dismissed the case on the 10th, and when he was at my house, he himself said, you'll see, I'm going to show the tape. That's part of the media that's coming out. He said that he knew that he called himself, for example, to my title company. It's never that he never believed this house was sold. He knew that. And even here, he was talking about different ways to deal with the lien. Of course, he's mostly, in my view, being a wise guy. And I think you'll agree when you see the tape. And that's coming out. Like I said, I'm doing the media. I'm doing my due process, my due diligence. I'm trying to let truth win. That's all. Because it's so often people, they show themselves out to be good people, but they're liars. And they give people like me that really are, that work so hard to be, a bad name, and then I pay for it in the worst ways. I was on probation for a year in a similar incident, and I have some media on that as well, but that's a different situation. That was a long time ago. But it was definitely something I had to deal with while going through this bankruptcy as well. I have not had it easy, but through the grace of God and love, I've been able to manage and defy the odds. I'm still standing here, despite the fact that I had a pain pill addiction. That's when Neil got this foreclosure against me. First, he loaned me the money when I was in the middle of it. Of course, I don't fault him for that, but I fault him for intending on stealing people's homes and having a track record of doing just that, ma'am. And that my history of looking into this matter proved just that. And other people who have dealt with him have approached me and said things. and even people that have worked for him. And I'm not trying to live this out over again. You can see on my whole life, I'm living for a life worth living. I'm working for that, and I care about the people. But look, this is coming in and destroying the dream of mine and everyone else's too, because I am bringing that. I am bringing that. And I tell the truth, and I live an open life, and I'm God honest. So when people like Neil come along and they steal and they hurt and they maim and they don't think about the damage that they're doing, and they're exercising in no love, no care at all, just straight greed. He just came off of, on the heels of, taking $21.4 million from our beloved freedom fighting veterans. Unbelievable. This is the kind of thing that only greed can do. And so if Neil is capable of doing that, what else is he capable of doing to your people's candidate? What else? And so what I fear is that here I am working my Happy Healer heart out, doing the paperwork. I plan on Monday, either by then having an attorney or myself putting it into the court, or that my buyer found another way to figure things out. But either way, we're all running fast towards the finish line, and that now we got Neil equally on the side of us trying to run to steal the home. And he says that when he has to deal with the lien, no worries, and you'll hear it in the tape. He says that he'll get that thrown out with no problem. So when it comes to me, who's trying to gift this great big beautiful dream of a boy to the people and doing the work behind it and for my own home, and to gift that out, what does that mean? I can't do it because of this lien, and that it's not working with me, that somehow the forces of evil, despite the spirit of the law, that it shouldn't be on there, is working against me. But then that Neil can come along, steal my home, reject the money that it pays him off for. You even offered 30 more days, ma'am, and you said 30 more days, sir, and you get the cash. And he's trying to convince the court that I'm a liar, but yet when it's in this video, you'll see he believes otherwise. So it's just proving him to be what he says I am, and that's the truth. And that I'm so humble. And sometimes I stand there and I say, I know my truth can't come out, not here, not the kind of truth I have, not the way I live my life, when I see so many people living with greed and that they don't care. I know that I'm up against a powerful force and that I'm humble in that. And so I just ask, be patient, please. Please don't let this force win against the people. If I'm given and gifted this opportunity, and I believe in fate, ma'am, I believe that this is going to happen. I believe this is my fate to do this because nobody else is doing it, and I knew it was needed. I had been through so much pain and suffering, and I've been waiting for something like this, and that nothing had like this ever come before. Somebody that came from the people, that could be trusted, who's not operating in greed, ma'am. Somebody who can respect and love all. Somebody who can help bring the right and the left together. That's what I want, because I'm just so worried. I'm afraid. I'm scared. I see the future, and I think about the children, and I know that they don't have the kind of future that we had when we were able to look and see when we were going to be adults. We still knew there would be a world, at least. These kids now, they're worried, and you heard recently one of them come up and they spoke out loud, and even they're under attack through hate. Let me tell you, people are greedy even in their hate. They're so egocentric, and that's what we're trying to pull away from. We're trying to let love work, and that's what I'm up against. I've seen that hell, and I know that hell, and I get scared because I know that it has no heart and what it can do. I've seen that it will take until there's nothing left, and I know where that lovers end up on the side of the street, because that they didn't do greed so well, that they weren't so good at killing and maiming and destroying in the legal way. They didn't know even how to do it, and if they did, they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to learn how to do it, and so they did not do it. They simply did not participate. And many of those folks are who your lovers are, and they often end up homeless and then thereafter die. They lost everything because of the greedy system. They worked hard. They made everything. Those are your inventors, your scientists, because nothing great comes from people that just exercise greed. It comes from people who exercise love and passion, and that they're serving the human cause. They come with these great new scientific discoveries from that place, and And then greed swoops in and takes it all. And so that's what we're talking about, is the real truth. And so please, let's not let greed take this dream from the people. Neil, inside yourself, call upon a stronger force, sir. I'm all ready, should I be successful, giving you a great age of redemption, and you, sir, need it. Then accept that great age, and by the way, be humble in it and love. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. And by the way, it was never about being perfect. That's why we get all these candidates, and later we learn they were not perfect. And that in our expectation of their perfection, all we ever got was a perfect liar. That's what we got for that. And that the very nature of the truth was right before us, Neil. All they ever wanted of us was love. That's what our mission is. That's what we were supposed to do. It was never about being perfect. It was about loving, and that love is perfect. And that God is love and truth. Never forget that. So those are the forces that I'm fighting for, Judge Jackson and company, and all good people who love, I love, and who are open to have conversations that matter in this country, because we all matter and have purpose and value. And that, folks, now you know why I have been off the air for some time, that we're working so hard on these endeavors, but you've seen and felt this speed bump. This is what that speed bump looks like. This is what greed looks like when it attacks, and I am shameful. I am so ashamed of that fact. And for those who exercise so hard, and it should feel shameful about that, it's unfortunate. And that we'll talk about the truth, but we'll do it with love. Love is the way to do things. You never regret what you do when you do it in love, and you do it for the right reasons. And remember, this was forced upon your Happy Healer for President. We prefer to be talking about the issues and to moving on. I want to be in Iowa so I can make this real for the people. Instead, I'm still trying to sell my home. I only wanted to sell my home. I got a buyer. I did the hardest part of everything. I got a buyer who's been sitting there so patient for 3 months. And Judge Jackson, I know he's just as frustrated. If you want, he can, I'm sure, and will show up on the stand to say, yeah, man, that is true. Just so you know. And the media, you'll see in a lot of the media, this is the kind of thing that we are up against. And I just say, let's all pull together. Let's realize that when we live our lives, let's live it in love. And that, ma'am, I hope and pray that Neil, he just takes a slow approach on filing that paperwork. That he gives me the time so that I don't have to match him by racing back to your court. And then he'll say, see, ma'am, I told you. Look, there's Mr. Landy back. He's back again. He didn't even, I got the buyer. And if I do come back, it's only because I should have never been gone. And that the sale, maybe now, after all this, it falls through. I doubt that'll happen. My buyer is very committed. He is not Neil Paulson. He is somebody who is committed. I see that in him. This is nothing against anybody. It's just the truth. I have a good guy here, and I'm trying to do right by my side of this bargain and this side of this deal. Please allow me to do that. And then that, if because out of my control, don't hold me against things that I've been trying so hard. I live a life of giving back to the people. And I love that. And I don't have to win the presidency to be happy. This is not about me. This is my happiness being projected back out into the world. This is me saying I have answers that I think will help all of us. And I want to get us all to a place of love, and that I love, and that I know it's the truth and the right way to be. And that these are uncomfortable situations for me to be in. I say that with humility and respect. There's nothing more than what I have is respect, and especially to the powers, because those powers, they ought to be respected. You've got people that are in responsibilities that help move. They're the movers or shakers. They're the ones who realize whether we can actually experience fairness, whether we can experience righteousness. You're in such a role, so I take that so seriously. I am in such humility of that fact, ma'am. I bow to that fact. And I say, please open your heart and just please listen to what I'm saying. I am not your average Joe. I am eccentric. I tell you, yeah, I'm weird, okay? I am your happy healer. I'm your happy healer, Keith Landy. I love because I know that I have purpose and value. It comes from my creator. And the beautiful thing about that is it means I get to love myself with 100% of my heart. And in doing so, it means I can then and therefore, and because of that, love you with all of my God-given heart. And I do. That's why. And that's why I want to become president of this country also, because I think that we deserve that. And I think that if I can gift that to the people, then that I should, and that we don't see anybody else doing that. And so I don't even come at you with the typical kind of qualifications you would expect of a presidential candidate. Indeed, I think my qualifications are far superior. And I would argue that. And I would say, let the best man win. And that's the kind of campaign we are running. And I always keep my people informed. I am running an honest and open and transparent candidacy. I say to you, my truths are open. You know everything about your happy healer. Why? Because I, Keith Landy, love you and trust you. That's what love means. I open my heart, my life up to you, and I say we have to do the right things. We can't do it like this anymore and expect that things are going to be okay. We see that this country is falling into despair, and we each of us have a responsibility to do what we can about that. I take that so seriously, and I love. That's right, I love. So I know that my kind of loving leadership, which is strong and rooted in faith, and that it's rooted in the truth, the unbiased truth around us, is something that the people need, that I can bring the people on the right who love God together with the people on the left who just love life, and together we can have a unity and we can bring about the great transformational progressive needs, I say, that humanity should have had but did not have because it was robbed from them. They were always the American exceptionalism. There was nothing else responsible for all of the great discoveries and things that came out of America in the last 70 years. Yet those people were promised a life worth living, that when these times came, they would be able to get on to living their fates and serving God. And if God Almighty wanted to be a monk, that they would have the freedom to do that in the richest country in the world, but instead they find themselves in a 21st century slave house. A modern one. And by golly, it's so sad. So here's what I promise you, okay? We're going to have a great show coming out with one of our supporters, and that people call in all the time, and I have so much behind the scenes content. I do this full time. Brenda is awesome. Thank you. And she'll be on that. We also have from other people as well, amazing people. So we'll be sharing some of that stuff. And so that I have coming out soon. And then behind it, we have more of the facts regarding this situation involving your Happy Healer for President. And we will get to this, hopefully, finish line. I pray, because anything can happen right now. I don't know. If I know Neil well enough, here's what I think will happen. I'll be working my Happy Healer heart out to get this case through in the circuit court. That's where I'm supposed to go next. After I get right when I'm done with this paperwork, that's where I'm supposed to file. Then my race is to beat Neil. And here's what I think is going to happen. I think Neil's going to be, because he's a lawyer and he's got this greed working. And remember, he's after the house. He doesn't want the house paid off. I unfortunately think, and this is not prophecy, I'm trying to make this not happen. So I'm hurrying up, and that's why I'm saying this now, because there's a chance that maybe someone would see this and say, oh, well, okay, that makes sense now, I can't do that, right, because it's being said. And so hopefully that power will have some effect. But I'm hoping that ultimately I can just have my buyer buy this home and I can carry on with this dream. My media has helped me in many cases, just being an open guy. I've always lived an open life. Please don't kill me for that. that. And don't kill the messenger for telling you about truths that we could all agree upon. I'm doing it on my own time. That's why I said always look at your own time and see and be open. I always said that if somebody had the truth, that I can be humble for the truth, if for nothing else. And so that's where I always operate from, and I couple it together with love. Indeed, for me, that is the essence of God. That's my truth. So I'm going to put this stuff out. It's going to be very, very enlightening. I have stuff that goes back for 10 years on Neil Paulson. He's not brand new in the kinds of things he's been doing, that he's been, get this, it's not by mistake. I've been paying this man. I've been paying him on point. I mean, he wouldn't let you get away otherwise in any other way. This is how he is. And let me say, as I've been paying him, somehow my loan went from $20,000, okay? $20,000 is what I borrowed almost 10 years ago, and it's now the payoff is $27,000. Not even in this greedy world does that make sense. That's clear indication of fraud. And I've been paying him. I haven't missed any payments. What we're doing in this bankruptcy is making up for things that were even fake and added additional charges on top of payments. And even still with all of that, I say this ought to be my case with him. This is the one thing that should be audited by the feds. I think it should be. I think they should look at this case. I call upon them to do that, because I really think, and that I would be such a cooperating witness in that regard, because I think that this has got some real serious issues with the way he's done this. But I'm just your happy healer, and for me, I just want a clean break. This guy won't ever give me that. I'm really just trying to move on with happy things. This is such an upsetting thing. I wasn't even talking about this before this became a major issue, before he showed up at my house gloating that my case had been dropped. He didn't know he was being recorded, but guess what? He was, and now all of you will see that. Mayor Demings. You know who he is. He ran for your job, sir. Thank God he's not our mayor. This is why we have to live for love. So this is what I'm working for, and I know I make mistakes, and I'm sorry where I make mistakes. I work hard to redeem in a way that is, we can all respect, that a way is with love. That's my go-to every time. You never forget that with your Happy Healer love. So I just wanted to come on shortly, give you this simpleton type information, because that's how it is in your world of Happy Healer. We have such a complex case we're making that the people can understand it, because it's the truth. The truth is always more complex and the lie is always simple. Never forget that. Well, folks, we are going to end this cast. Judge, I hope you heard me out. Neil, I hope you take your time, let patience win. You'll get your money and then some. You already know this is too much money that you're asking about, but I don't care. I just want a clean break. I just want to do my dream. I know that we're doing the right things. Please don't get in the way of that. I have my home sold, and you know that. You've been in contact with my title company. You already know that. How come you didn't tell the judge that when she was saying, I don't believe you have a buyer? Why didn't you say, well, ma'am, actually he does? Because you know that. It wasn't the judge who talked to the title company, who was told by the title company, oh yeah, that we're still good to close. That's a home run right there when you're told by the title company that, but yet you didn't tell the judge that, and I didn't get a chance to. I tried to. I had a whole speech prepared, but it's okay. God works in mysterious ways, sir. Just please don't mess it up now. The judge intended that I have time to do this. The judge did. She said, I'm putting this back so you have time to go into it. That's what she said. Don't forget that, sir. Please don't forget that. I'm counting on that. Please don't forget that the Judge Jackson said, Mr. Landy, you're going into the court so you can have the jurisdiction there. It's what she said. If you don't allow me that becomes part of my case as far as getting back in with the bankruptcy court, and we're right back again. Why would you want that? And it might end up there anyway because of all this time that it's been taking, and I doubt it would, because guess why? We're going to get that lien off, and then we'll move on. And that's all we've ever been trying to do. And that's where we'll end it on this one. So thank you very much for listening. God bless you all. We have so much more on this very subject coming up, just because we touch on greed all the time anyway. And that, well, in this case, I love and I love, but in this case, this has been hurting me so much. I can't even believe it. You just become shocked. And so I'm just proving my truth. In open court, I was called, more or less in so many terms, by somebody who I have come to respect and love, someone who is not truthful. And I just think about that and I say, I am so truthful. How did I go so wrong? What did I say? Because I've been patient. Most people aren't patient. I'm forced to be patient. I've been hurt so many times. They say to me, Mr. Landy, you gotta wait 20 days. I say, yes, I am a good boy. I will wait. And that's it. I don't try and I follow the rules so that we cannot have this kind of insanity win, and that we allow love to win, and that we find we can be hard all the way up until the limit of love provides the ability to do what's right. That's what I count on. I count on the fact that I love you. I love all. And that love protects me like a veil, because when you love someone, they have no reason to anything you back but love. And that's the bottom line truth for me. And I prove that by opening my heart, and I open up my soul, and I share everything that I have experienced, all the things that I know. I hold nothing back. I share with you about who I am. And I say I'm a good person. I make mistakes, yes, and I have made mistakes, and I'm dealing with my own version of hell like we all have to deal with. And that's what I say is we all have our own version. Let's get out of the depression. Let's get out of this stuff and come together. That's what love does, and that's all I'm doing. And I continue doing that, win, lose, or draw in this presidency. I continue to live a life worth living. That is a life worth living. And I will never stop living a life worth living, showing people that around me that I care about them enough to be who I am, to my core around them, to care about them, to be truthful with them, to help them when I can. In this world, we should help all the time. And when we get to that world where nobody is considered less than, then we solve things like racism. That's why I say we have to get on to the business of loving and putting love over capitalism. That's why, because I know that when we do that, then we can deal with bigotry. That's why we have to have an income for all. It's because people matter. No longer can the days be in the 21st century in the richest country on the face of the earth. What do you do for a living? That question ought be, what do you do for humanity? So that's what we're fighting for, ma'am. And I hope you don't get and let the lack of knowledge and who I am get in the way of letting that happen. Because that's what my dream is. That's what a boy's dream is. And that we have greed that's already proven itself beyond measure. That truth has shown itself, thank God. There is no question. The jury is not still out on this man. Let's please not let me in my presidential run, which could really be the difference of a lot more people than just me. Think about that. We have to really consider, I have a chance here because I have real truth. I believe in this. And so then we have Neil then that's getting away of 300 million Americans. We can't have that. Much love to you all. God bless you. God bless this great country of ours. All of us should always be loving, and all of us should always respect the rule of law. We just have to get that rule of law to put humanity above. God bless and good day. I shall be back with so much more truth moving forward. And love. That's just the way we do. And to all the mommies out there, I love you. You have such the greatest role in this life. Loving as a mother, that's unconditional love. That taught me so much about love and the gifts of love and what it can do, the powers of love. And love makes concessions. You know, if you're new with me, you're Happy Healer for President, you should definitely go back and look at previous videos. We have an evolution of sorts. I myself have been evolving through the way, and that learning and taking on new challenges, it's a story. It's my story. It's all of our stories together. I want you to be a part of my story. This is exactly how we all have more purpose and value. Please go back and check those previous episodes. And so we'll be back soon with some really intense stuff. I'll be introducing to you more of that oblivion monster, that dirty, greedy monster that's trying to take from all of us and that lives within. I have some actual movie art based on this. I love having fun, and this is how I do things. So I know all of this is in jeopardy when greed comes along and wants to get its hands on it. And I wouldn't even, if all I did is just continue doing art, I would be okay, because I wouldn't even be out of the bankruptcy at all. The reason I'm out of the bankruptcy at all is because Neil said that I didn't have ever insurance on this house, which was a lie. I did. And I'll prove that stuff on the program. But also that I, so many other things, just that virtually all of them were wrong. But it doesn't matter. The point is, I wanted to sell this home so I could sacrifice in a better way for the dreams that I have, that I believe in. I really do believe in them. And so that's okay by me. It wasn't about holding on to that forever if I could do it this way. So I have faith and I pray and I have faith. Just like a good friend told me yesterday. He said, have faith. And I said, I always have faith. And he said, pray. And I said, I always pray. And I know that he's trying. So I appreciate that. And so we are all trying and doing our best. And I have faith in that. And I know. So that's what I'm working on. I really believe that it's going to be fine. That I've always had that belief. I'm shocked where it's at now. I think it's a momentary setback. I think that Neil should be patient, not to run so quickly back to the initial court to hurry up and do that greedy stuff, because it's just going to have to then force my hand to go back to the bankruptcy court, when really the sell's right around the corner. It's coming. And, this stuff is out there, so I am trying to do this where I don't exasperate my happy healer heart in the petrified state of the truth being so much different and uglier than what I'm being presented. It's scary, and I have to respond to that. And sometimes it's like, all at once. I can't get it all out. There's so much to say. And in that state, I lose. So I say, be patient. Let me get my mine out. Because that's the respect we have in courts. We can't afford to be any other way. You'll get yourself thrown in jail. So, I'll never get that truth out in that environment. So it's just that I have to be very humble, and I have to, and we all have to be. And so I say that's what you do. But remember, we're not all living a happy healer life either. Let's be honest about that. How often is it that we run into people that live such lives? So that's why I'm also prone to being hurt so easily. People want to kill the love in me, but I don't let that happen. That's why I do the media. And that's also what makes me a great candidate for President of the United States. I've shown that I have the strength over time to remain a good person despite all the bad things that have happened to me. That matters. That is consistency and strength. All right, so thank you once again. God bless this country. May God bless the United States of America to and through, and each and every soul in it. Let us all try to do something today to show we have value and purpose in our lives. God bless and good night.